so forgive me for that. But we are scheduled to have a workshop on November, a training session is kind of our normal scheduled day, and we've always left it
On when?
on November 4th.
I hadn't planned on it this month because of the November 10th training. I don't
Okay.
want to inundate
Well,
people.
I would ask, though, if, in the event that if we could alleviate a problem for this gentleman. Now, we would still have to, make a decision to change, but would it be reasonable to request that we look at using that date? Because we have discussed in the past.
No, because I'm going to be off that date, so no, that we can't do that.
And
I'm
Ruth's
trying to
help,
burn annual leave by the end of the fiscal year, so that's,
Ruth's already solved my problem.
yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, this,
Ruth has solved the problem. If you decide to change, then we can just do a new plat that doesn't have that restriction on
Okay,
there.
fair
As long as we have that representation, that's fine, because I understand thinking about, well, should it be half, or should it be 3/4, or should we review it, or should it be limited to certain kinds of zoning, and certain kinds of developments, or should we have to put a stamp on this one doesn't require it and this one does? I mean, I understand that.
And it may be a situation where, as a planning commission, with what Ken was just talking about, defining the parameters and just putting it in putting it in the subdivision regulations with those parameters defined, rather than just making it as a policy. Because part of this stemmed from years and years ago when we had the public notification issues and how to make people aware of things that were very much impacting them. And this was part of that whole process.
See, I understand all of that, because if I were buying something and I was expecting it to be a certain way of house, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're changing things, I can understand that. But he's disclosed, if I'm understanding correctly, he's disclosed everything. And everybody that's going there, looking at those houses, they see what they're getting. So that's why is there any way we can, I understand about keeping the policies and looking, but
and we have worked out
I think
his
that's part of
particular
what we need
situation.
Yeah,
to
you've
discuss
solved
at
you've
the
solved
next
this
month.
problem,
Right.
and frankly, you guys are the watchdogs. If somebody's trying to do something that's not fair, you ought to put a stop to it. I mean, if somebody wants to, just move things around a little bit, and those are judgment calls. I mean, they're all judgment calls, but we probably could all sit down with examples, and we get 98 of them. We'd all say, yep, can't do that, can do that, and there's going to be little things in between, but that you'll have to deliberate about. You probably won't be able to write in a policy, but to me, this is something that you shouldn't have to go to homeowners. It's all the same houses. I mean, it's,
so you're happy,
well,
sort of.
well,
Satisfied for now.
I have to get. I mean, the plat requires right now. I mean, it's a legal document right now that requires I got to go get 9 more signatures. I mean, and I don't think there's much we can do about that. But going forward, if we decide, we want, a different kind of house, or a little bit bigger house, or, for example, I don't know if you remember the plat that you guys approved as the concept plan for Phase 2. It's got a row of 12 houses in a row, something like that, detached homes in a row.
Oh, in the back road there?
Yeah, on that back road there. It could be that we decide we want to build 8, and we want them to be, 100-foot bigger each. Instead of 2,100 square feet, they're 22. Well, I don't think we should have to go back and get, as long as they're in the same character, it's the same size, they're in the same range, I don't think you should have to go back and get everybody's signature.
I think we've heard your message.
Yeah.
Right.
It's time to
Okay,
throw the
I'll
shovel
quit.
out.
Yeah.
As they say.
Thank you.
So the 4 outstanding issues here that we have, including meet all town requirements, you're okay with those? Okay. So, Ruth, our proposal is to approve the re-subdivision. Is that?
Subject to those 4 items.
I move approval.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded? Ron?
Opposed? Thank you, and we will have that on the agenda.
Thank you.
He'll come back and talk to us at that time too now.
Bring us some food.
We don't,
Oh. Well, just bring it in
like
here.
leftovers.
Yeah.
I put you at the end of the agenda, Ken, so
Yes,
that
sir.
Item number 4, discussion and public hearing of a site plan for the automotive repair facility, 11926 Kingston Pike, parcel 3, tax map 152CN, located on the south side of Kingston Pike next to CVS Pharmacy, 1.34 acres, zone C-1. First choice automotive applicant.
packet, I included a copy of a letter and some architectural renderings and the reduced site plan, identifying the necessary changes. First of all, I would like this time to point out to you that this was an excellent site plan, and staff very much appreciated the work that Chris did on this, because he came in very prepared, and that really makes our lives much easier, and I think his life easier ultimately. But I just wanted to point that out, because so often all you hear is negative comments. And this was a very good site plan by, in fact, that was even in the letter that we commented on it.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
But-
I didn't do that drawing, no. I stopped 5 feet outside the building.
What this is the architectural rendering, and what I wanted to show was that the building is all brick. It is earth tones. The door openings are going to be facing to the sides, and the front of the building is an office with windows, and that's what will be facing Kingston Pike. Will match well to the west and to the east of this building. The site plan itself, most of you are familiar with the access easement that and the traffic signal. The apartments are located directly behind the facility, the proposed facility, and that driveway that's located on the top of the picture there that goes straight out to Kingston Pike. The driveway where the pen comes out at, that's the connection where people can get to the traffic signal, for example, for making safe left turns. They are, keeping that as part of this design.
They go through the parking lot at CVS.
Mm-hmm, yes. Yeah, there's not going to be any changes at CVS, and the driveway is coming out directly across from Jefferson Federal, where it currently comes out. They are not making any modifications to that. But staff is recommending approval of this site plan, subject to items 1 through 6, number 6 being meet all town requirements, and just some minor modifications to the site plan, and posting letters of credit and drainage fee and stuff.
Tell us who you are.
Chris Sharp, Urban Engineering, 11852 Kingston Pike. We don't have any objections to the conditions of approval.
Anyone have any questions?
Color's the metal roof.
It's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a brownish metal roof, brownish bronze. Yeah, it's a darker tone.
Have anyone in the audience who has any questions?
I have one question that, and it's a wonderful location for you. I have no objection to the location or anything regarding this property or even this motion. But I was wondering, why did you even consider there's an empty building that was going to be an automotive facility at one point down. I think it was going to be Mr. Tufts or something of that. And that is empty now. So I'm curious as to why did you even consider that building versus building a brand new one?
The owner's here, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot better access to, basically a lot better access to Kingston Pike. There's a traffic signal, like Ruth had mentioned. So the ingress and egress would be a lot easier. And you've got the apartments behind it, which will serve to promote business, along with, one-stop shopping with CVS and, and getting your vehicle service and the bank. Yeah, that's.
I discussed it with Ruth earlier in the week, but I was talking on the hazardous waste collection and disposals because it was properly taken care of because of the detention ponds nearby and all that sort of thing.
There will be a waste oil tank. And I think they're still working out the details of the size of the tank and so forth, but it's going to be somewhere about 1,000-gallon tank. 500-gallon tank that serves to collect the oil generated inside the shop. And it'll be pumped once a week. And as a further safeguard, there's a secondary exterior oil water separator or grease separator that will serve to separate the contaminants or the oil prior to it entering the sanitary sewer system. That's a 1,000-gallon tank as well.
Town have any questions about the environmental issues?
No, after Ed came in and talked to me last first of this week, I was like, I know we've talked about this in the past, but I don't remember. And then I was reminded that Dan Johnson actually looks at that, and that's actually part of our codes. And I don't look at it, obviously, because I didn't remember anything about it. But that is who the architect is dealing with, is Dan Johnson, to make sure that all of that is adequately addressed. So that answers Ed's question, too.
And according to our notes, Dan does not have any questions at this point.
Bill will address all of that as part of the building permit, because that's actually part of the construction with that.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments? Have a motion?
Move for approval subject to the stipulations.
A second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
If I could, I'd like to thank the staff. We met with them early on in the process and looked at our concept, and that greatly, really facilitated us going forward and, minimizing the comments and that kind of thing. So if I could, I'd thank them.
Thank you.
Compliments in a night.
Yes. Thank you all.
Praise. Put that in the paper.
Item number 5, discussion and public hearing on a proposed buried cable on the north side of Boyd Station Road at McPhee Road. TDS Telecom applicant.
I included in your packet a plan from TDS and this GIS map showing where this is in the town. This is along the railroad track, just on the north side of the railroad track on the south end of McPhee Road and Virtue Road, and they are going to be burying a 96 pair fiber line in conduit that will be buried between 3 and 5 feet from the edge of pavement on the north side of the Boyd Station Road right-of-way. I also included in your packet some information from Troy Whittakin with First Utility District, and at least I think it was in your packet. Showing a vault that they were asking TDS to avoid on that northwest corner of McPhee and Boyd Station. I had spoke with TDS representatives, and they were glad to be made aware of that to avoid any conflict, and they will definitely work around this. And we are recommending approval